na Facebooku, mogoče iz telefona, ker bi rada oboje videla. Tukaj se še nič ne vidi, veš? Kako? Aha, se gledam. A ga ti vidiš, Gregor?
Kje pa je, na Golden Race?
A ti vidiš, Gregor? Bom jaz probala še enkrat priključiti na Facebook.
Malo delaj, kaže, da je spet gor.
Do you have, you are on the phone, right? Do you have a Zoom application on your phone?
Yes.
That's great. Okay. So.
But from here it looks like David is dialing in.
Okay, I'm gonna try. I'll hang up again and I'll try going through the app.
Okay. Yeah, please.
Okay. Sorry.
No problem. Widzę, ja. Super. Good. Okay. Good. Hey, baby! We have you.
Hi.
Good.
That works.
We have quite a lot of people joining the Zoom as well. So, okay. We wait that everybody comes in. Wow.
Yeah, so we wait another 4 minutes or so. Oh, hi. How are you?
Hi.
Okay. Hello, everybody. So good to have you here. I'm really happy. This is our first live stream from the New Dawn, and we have a special guest with Gregor and David above you. I don't know how it's sleep. Gregor killed. We were holding this space. We also did some activations before, and all just came together. So I'm really delighted to have you as a guest. And like people were showing a lot of interest, and we just put out today afternoon. So I'm sure that we will join again because it's a lot of interest in this topic. And also, like I said, it's so intense for everybody to go through this period. because I feel that it's a shift going on the collective level, and we have like no ideas anymore how to deal with our patterns, our dynamics, and yeah. So I would just like to ask everyone who's here to open the camera, so it would be really beautiful if I could see you all. And oh, they're still coming. And we talked with Gregor, maybe just to introduce Gregor, because we said if there wouldn't be anybody else, that we would hold the space and just be the feminine and masculine energy, and we just see what comes.
That's the best way to do it, right? So when we would do it, even if nobody would come, we would still be talking about it.
Yeah.
So how I'm connected to this is that my spirit guides me towards unifying the masculine and the feminine within my heart, or the space within my heart, or however you might feel it within yourself. That everything outside in the world, in the universe, in relationships, it's all happening within me and within my heart. And that's how I've been doing healings with people through touch. And everything I've been doing in the last 2 years have been focused on that, in that direction. And it's like the symbol in the background with the heart. It's like two halves of it's like two hearts are actually joining in together. If you look at a human heart, it's like one heart and second heart together, they form this shape of a heart that we see. So I see it when we heal this within ourselves, the relationship which is connected to our father and our mother in the background, that we also this reflects on the outside. And whatever there's a problem in the outside, I go inside, but I'd never underestimate the being direct, communicate things also with somebody else outside of me. So I want to open that. I don't know where we're gonna go. We've been crossing some things with Brina, but I still want to leave the space open to how we can unify ourselves and be strong and be whole and complete. As I believe that what the world needs is our relationships healed, our relationship with ourselves healed, and that's how we can make peace in the world.
Thank you, Gregor. So I will just give the word to David to introduce himself as well, and then we see where we go.
Thank you. I'd first like to thank everybody for welcoming me into your space. This is new for me. I don't know what you normally do here, but I feel very welcome and I appreciate that. And I'm not sure if you normally speak English, but that's I'm grateful for that too. I love what Gregor said there about unifying the heart and bringing the masculine and feminine essence together. For me has been a big part of my journey, and most of my life I was because of conditioning and certain judgments that I had for myself, I should say against myself. I had imbalances that caused me to be more feminine in my way than what was healthy for me in relationships. And that's not just intimate relationships, that's with the world basically. And through my own healing process and helping others, I realized that I realized these judgments that I had against myself, and I healed those places that were causing the judgments, and I became more masculine. in how I feel in my body and how I present myself to the world as a result. It just happened naturally. And so my feminine essence now is a very small percentage of how I present myself, but it's always in there, and it's always influencing the masculine with a softness that keeps me from being a brute in the world, if you want to think of it that way. And yeah, so it's a matter, for me, it was a matter of integrating things through my integrity and my honor that allowed me to be more masculine and more effective in the world, and being able to finally help people and share in such a great way that I'm lit up. It's my passion and purpose now. So sure, I'm glad to be here to be able to share whatever people are interested in. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I just wanted to ask, there are so many people and I couldn't see everybody on the screen. Maybe just like a short introduction of all of you that you're here, and maybe just one sentence, what interests you the most, and then we go on our thematics, I think. So yeah, the protocol is like this. I will close my microphone, and the one that speaks has open. That's the last confusing, I think.
A lahko v slovenščini, ker je meni lažje se izraziti. Kaj me ne slišim? A ja, ti imaš izklopljeno.
Ja, lahko.
Okay.
Bom prevedla. I will translate. Some are better to talk in Slovenian language, so I will translate. Or Gregor will help me, okay?
Yeah, we can do a summary if it would be a bit longer, so just enough to get the message through.
Ok, mene je privlačila ta tema trenutno, ker sem tako zadnje 2 dni še posebej v ful močni notranji vojni s svojim notranjim moškim in tudi v zunanjem svetu se to vedno bolj kaže in manifestirajo neki prepiri in neka potlačena čustva prihajajo ven iz strani moškega in iz mene v bistvu, no, tako. Ampak res v ekstremnem izrazu, tako nekontrolirano in ja, zaradi tega me je to privlačila, ta tematika.
Okay, Živa just said that she's in this time, really in the last 2 days, in big fights with her inner masculine, and everything is manifesting also on the outward. So it's manifesting right away, right? Maybe just one small drop, how you see your fights, what is the main thing that maybe triggers you or something, because that can already be an opening for a talk. If you don't know right now, you can also wait and let us know.
After the fight, I realized the pattern, which is that my believing system is that I believe that I don't deserve man's love. So this would be like a red line or something.
Yeah, I really love what you said, because I can join to that. And I feel this thematic somehow, because I don't know your life, but for me is like a stereotype woman that had an absent father. I actually found him when I was 24. I tracked him. So I have a relation now, but there is still, this energy field that I'm working on. So I can understand. Maybe this can be our first point. Would you add something, or maybe we can already put out the question or shape the question? Or if you feel, David, something to share on this thematic, you're free and open to talk.
Yeah, it's a very important realization that you've had, that there's this inner conflict, and that's how it is actually for everybody until they're healed, whether they realize it or not. So just knowing that that's happening within you is a very, very good and important first, like, beginning step. Not maybe not the first, but it's very helpful. And so yeah, the finding the cause of it is the hardest part. And it could be something to do with your father. It could be something to do with a man that you had in your life in the past. Um, but normally it goes back to childhood, something that happened when you were little. And that's very normal. It's not that other people don't have these experiences. You're just realizing what everybody experiences. So there's no cause to feel different, or to have any judgment towards yourself for what you're experiencing. So yeah, just be gentle and kind as you go, and maybe we can come up with some things you could do to help yourself with that.
Thank you, David.
Yeah.
There are so many people coming in, and I just decided by intuition that I leave the space open so people can share more and just like introduce themselves. You're welcome. So just go for it.
If nobody else will go, I just want to add something to the conversation. What I noticed through my giving of touch was that there's this profound relationship with the father that's missing when it comes to women. The kind of love, touch, and presence that was never present there because father was never capable of doing that. And there's so many stigma around intimacy and touch and everything, love around your children, and then this is a certain kind of intimacy between the child and the father never comes through, and when I do touch, that's what a figure, that an energy that comes out of me is the energy and the figure of the father, and I'm just present with her, and I'm letting her know that that everything is all right, like the security, the knowing, and the deserving, which we've mentioned also. And that's what I can add to that conversation about. And also, Brina, that you mentioned in the intro when we posted it online, is how much our father figure is missing, or I would say in which aspects the father figure is missing, especially when it comes to touch and love and connection.
Thank you, Gregor. Yeah, I can join with that because this is like the main issue I'm working as well. And it's just like I was never with my father, and just the fact that he's missing and is not there and he didn't take any responsibility, it's like a long pattern in the root where I felt I don't deserve to be loved by man. And yeah, it's really interesting because the absent father figure it doesn't mean that has to be physically absent. Like I also, like when I'm going through this healing, I figure out, so what is the lesson when we are going through like situations that are not coincidental, like to have unconditional love, and I can love even a person that is not present. But yeah, I'm still working on this. So what I wanted to say is that in Slovenia is a very strong pattern of an absent father, which can be just not physically, but just not there. Even if he's there, he's not there. So it's really, really strong. And I just don't know if it's only in Slovenia, because these men that are not knowing, or not, it's not just there to be masculine. I feel it, it's all over the place. I don't know that. How is this? How do you see this in your country, David?
Well, I can see that there is a difference, and I want to actually say something that might sound contradictory, but it's not. Um, what I notice in Slovenian men, I actually worked with one very closely for 5 years, and I know lots of uh, Bosnian and Serbian and Romanian, Polish, lots of Polish men as well. And so there's like I think it's like this part of Europe. There's and it's something that actually helped me become more integrated by being around them. Is that my impression of them was that they were very masculine, and we don't have much of that in our country. Um, when it shows up, like when there are masculine men in North America, they tend to be inappropriate in a lot of ways because their feminine energy is not integrated. So to keep them appropriate in the world. So um, the masculine guys that I've known from Europe were like very masculine. They were just rigid and solid and grounded in their masculinity, but they didn't have the the addition of a beautiful open heart. So they weren't very available emotionally. And I know as a man and a father that when you have children, that's a very good opportunity for your heart to blow wide open for the love that you have for your child. It's almost, for me, I couldn't help it. It just happened. When my first son was born, it happened with the other two as well as they came into their lives. And that was my first experience of unconditional love that I had for my children. And because I was a very soft, open-hearted guy my whole life. That's why I say I was more feminine. I wasn't like, but it just happened. I wasn't when my first son was the born, kind of feminine that a gay man might exhibit. The other two as well, because that's a whole extreme. But I was very soft and always open and vulnerable and kind, and but I wasn't responsible like a masculine man. So, like responsible in the ways of providing and protecting the family and stuff like that. I didn't have that. I mean, I could act that way, but it was difficult for me to be that. Whereas what I notice in European men is that they are very they're very grounded, and they'll just be those masculine ways for their family, but then they can't necessarily, and I don't know, but maybe they can't show up emotionally and have that intimate connection because they're not to feel their heart hurts. And I've done a lot of deep reflecting on why a man's heart hurts and why he needs to keep it closed to protect himself. And you know, I could share lots about that, but I want to make room for other people to talk to. So, but yeah, there is a difference in my country. We're more in general, we're more feminine in a way. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, David. You gave us some very good points, and one that I really like is like I always confused like to see a man that is really kind and open. I always thought, and I still have this sometimes. I just I confuse it that that it's also emotionally open for real, but not intimately. So I'm surprised that you know the European and, like you said, also Slovenian, and you said something maybe I couldn't. So I'm really happy you did, and. Yeah, it's true. And to be really intimate and open, I think that takes a lot of courage. So I don't know, Gregor, can you have something to add? I would like to invite, and I'm inviting all of the others. We are like many here, more than 10, 15 maybe. I cannot see you all to do some reflections about it, or just to we go to this. I like the thematic. What is the man when he's kind and open, but the strength is not there, and like fear maybe or pain to be open and to be loving. I can also say that yes, when you have a child, that comes just naturally. I see. It's really interesting. So somebody I'm inviting. I would, yeah.
I can
Go.
speak a little bit to that. So I believe that every man feels it in his heart when he has a child, that love that he has for that little baby, because we're all completely innocent when we're born. Like if you look into a baby's eyes, that's all you can see is their innocence. They really don't even have the capability to be anything but innocent. And it's only a matter of whether or not a man is in touch with his own feelings enough to be able to express and show the child what he's feeling. And it might be easier when they're little, but when they start to develop a personality and an ego and a sense of self, um, and they start pushing the boundaries of things that are okay and they're not okay in the family, and the father has to become more dominant with the child just to keep the peace in the house. Then he's got these mixed emotions of dominance and control, um, and then also how he feels that love, and sometimes it's just too much for a man who's very masculine to be able to open his heart and be able to be both of those things at the same time. That's something I've noticed, and it wasn't my problem, but I've noticed it in very masculine men.
Thank you, David. I also noticed, like, with men, like in a family, how you said also it was not easy to provide, right? And to take responsibility, perhaps. It's I see how it's hard to take responsibility, from joy, like from love, from like devotion. And it's somehow, maybe it's a collective pattern, I don't know, but it's like a burden. And then it's just like you go to a job, work, and you come back, you're tired, all this. And it's just, I also feel I would really appreciate to and I hold space for men, or for a partner to be open to me, to speak his heart. um I don't know how a man can overcome this. Is it an overcoming? What is it? What is the change that these things that are so like normal, boring, maybe like you need some effort, that they don't exhaust you, that you still can be light and joyful and or like grateful, and you go with it with this energy.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, yeah, I think that you have the experience, but anybody can say if has
Well,
something.
it was providing for my family was always met. Like I met it with responsibility in the world, but because uh, I wasn't in love with myself fully. I was loving everybody else, but I couldn't love myself completely. So um, I wasn't able to feel my true passion for who I am and what I'm capable of giving the world. And so everything felt like a duty and a burden. The burden came out of this sense of duty, and but there was also, in the duty was this pride that I am a good man because I am providing, but at the same time I was dying inside because I wasn't doing what felt good for me. So it was always about somebody else, which was good but not great. And so as I started to learn that love just isn't about somebody else, it's about how I love myself. And I've healed my traumas and my conditioning that I was taught as a child, that I'm not worthy of love, and that's always just a misperception, but we believe it to be true until we heal. But as I healed, I became more in love with myself and still able to love everyone around me. And then my passion, just my purpose, my true purpose in life just surfaced, and I knew it. But then how to make it happen in the real world without it turning into um, just another duty, because I had conditioned myself to just stay in the burden of duty. So yeah, there's a big difference between being noble and performing a duty for other people, and being honorable and taking good care of yourself at the same time. And that's something that men are taught as little children. I think probably most of the world. I know in North America that don't be selfish, don't think about yourself, think about other people. And there's some honesty to that, but you have to be included in that yourself. So that's what I share. That's what I teach. I'd love to hear what Gregor says about that. I'd like to hear that.
Well, something that is running through me while we've been having all this conversation and coming all the way to the beginning when Jiva was sharing, and she demonstrated a superpower, and that's admitting something, that your powerlessness, your difficulties, and that I see as a breaking point, not just for a man, but for a woman. It's about a human being and who we are. And when if I would mention myself as a man, then I become a hard ass, you know, when I'm going too far and I don't admit when I'm powerless, and where I'm powerless, and how something is, what I'm not capable of doing. So I'm able to admit those things. I can break that hardness of the masculine and come back to my heart, and be in that vulnerable space with my partner or anybody else, for that matter. And that for me creates a connection that I don't have to be hard, I don't have to be above you, I don't have to be stronger, I don't need to demonstrate some kind of super masculine man that I'm going to solve the whole world or save the family or whatever. You know, that I can meet where I don't have abilities, where I've never been taught about those, how to be strong. I never been taught how to demonstrate safety, you know, so I have to learn all those things. And at least I didn't have that in my family. And when David was sharing about honor, you know, being an honest human being and sharing whatever you've done wrong, where you made mistakes, you know, I never had that background, that fertile ground in my home. So basically that's my greatest source of power, is like this breaking point in the middle, you know, when there's a strong masculine and then there's a soft feminine aspect of the world, and the breaking point is in the heart, where whenever there's a conflict, either with myself, that I'm being completely overrun by the whole situation, that I'm able to come there and just admit that I'm powerless, you know, or whatever my trouble is. And that's how I see is the
Good, thank
solution.
I just feel another point. Like I will turn now to the feminine, and I really would love if any of the women here would speak, because what I am confronting right now is like how to stay soft and like feminine, and to have the boundaries, you know, and to recognize, because I never was learned about the boundaries. There are many feminine, like my mother, she was like having 4 children, and she has this super masculine energy, and I'm like,
Hey,
oh
hey,
yeah,
I'd like to speak.
yeah, go.
So I think acceptance is the solution. Sorry, I'm speaking over someone. You speak.
Okay, I just want more clear answer. Acceptance of what? Like acceptance that you're in a position, like you're alone, a mother, and we go into the masculine, right? Because we are like, we have these fears providing stuff like this, and we have similar. And then how can I be then like this softness? And you know, there is so much to learn and unlearn as well, in this topic. And I know many women that we just learned, if we didn't receive like support, that we need to do it everything by ourselves. And there is another thing, like also unconsciously, you know, not putting the boundaries, not, it's about self-love, of course, but yeah, maybe if there is somebody of the women here that want to speak about this from our point, how we are experiencing, and if they found the solution, acceptance.
Yes.
Mhm.
You have to
Okay.
accept, and at times just ask yourself, what is more meaningful to me? Is it more meaningful to me that I am fighting with my partner? Or is it more meaningful to me that I love him? And it's not like giving something to him that is not me. but just acceptance, you know. And sometimes it works.
Okay, thank you.
Do you understand?
Yeah, so not sure. It's very open, so maybe a
Yes,
specific.
because you can be triggered, you know.
Mhm.
And at the time you're triggered, you can ask yourself, okay, now I'm triggered. What is more meaningful to me? To be triggered and to go into your trigger, to dive in, or maybe to stop and think, what is me in this point and what is him? Do you understand?
Yeah, I think I get you, that you become aware of what is important to you in that
Yes.
moment. Yeah,
Yes.
I've been at that point many times, and that's what pushes me into the right direction, when I regain what's my intention, what do I really want in this.
Yes, yes.
And then it slowly breaks off this being there, like wanting to react, wanting to continue.
Yes, wanting to fight.
Yeah, wanting to continue the conflict, and then this awareness that I put this
becomes
in my,
love.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I want to share something really beautiful about this. What you've brought to the surface here is so important, because whenever there's conflict, as soon as there's a trigger, there's already inner conflict. So the other person doesn't even know until the person who's triggered starts to speak about it.
Exactly.
And then so the inner conflict turns into an outer conflict. And what you're saying
and it
is
might
that,
disappear when there's
yeah,
love.
yeah. And
Mhm.
I realized something not that long ago, and I wrote something about it, where if you think about that moment when you fall in love with somebody, I know if you're in a relationship that's really old, you have to go way back and remember that day, that moment in time when you fell in love with a person. And I realized in that moment, because I was thinking to myself, what is that? And I realized it's the recognition of their innocence, and that their love is so innocent that they would never hurt you. And as soon as you get triggered, you know, you go along in time and you get triggered, and this
and you
person,
go, come hurt me, come hurt me.
this person's supposed to love you, and that's really why it hurts, because you know you're taking something from what they said or what they did as though you're not being loved. And the truth of the matter is that they still love you, but they just didn't know how to show you that they love you in the way that you need in that moment. And they didn't mean to. They're actually innocent. um you know, unless they're hurt and they're being vindictive or something like that. But then there's something behind that where you're innocent of hurting them. And it just goes, if you can always return to that innocence, by accepting that you love them no matter what, then we can always converse from a place of care and understanding the other person, and trying to, or maybe not understanding, but at least trying to come to understanding without conflict. And that's been my biggest joy in the work that I've done, is that I can actually teach people how to not have conflict in their relationships and just stay in love. And that's, you can see my face, it's lighting me up that I get to share this with
No,
people.
I can see your face. I just can feel your thing. Is the thing. Thank you.
Oh yeah, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's beautiful, because I also experienced not long time ago, when I showed with my innocence, whatever that was, in whatever form that was, it really touched the heart of another person, and there was no expectation. It's like I just I just showed the love, and I was completely like crushed, but I still was there with love, and I still like, I love you no matter what. And that somehow touched. And yeah, thank you to everybody. Thank you, Kathy. Good. We have one comment, and maybe Gregor, can you read it? Because I have a little bit of problem to be on the Zoom and see you and go on the.
Yeah, just a moment. Look in the chat. So is it in the chat or?
Yeah. On the Facebook.
Sorry. Okay, I'll go there. So it's this one. We learn to grow hard, and in hard we learn to grow hard in a hard world, because being soft can be dangerous. It is sometimes from a form of self-love that we grow harder, but that is not true self-love. I preach becoming bendable instead of soft. If you are too hard, you break. If you are too soft, you get hurt easily. If you have just the balance of the two, you become flexible and can weather anything. And it goes together with what we've been saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I just got now the answer for women, that we are really coming. We are just raised to be masculine, or in situation or whatever. It's like, yeah, vulnerability. Yeah, that's so true. And it's a mastering, honestly, like to be to have the strength, which is not like the same, like, I don't know, power, but the strength, and at the same time to just like cry, and to show the emotions. It's very similar, maybe I don't know, David, but maybe if women could show the vulnerability more and more, this even men that somehow love the woman and they don't know how to show it, or they don't, maybe is here maybe the answer to opening. Because yeah, to men that are not like comfortable to really open intimately, but also for women, I think that's like a huge thing. And I know for me, because I'm working for so long, and I still always feel like, oh, I'm still at the beginning. How come? But yeah, thank you.
I've noticed that um, the form of vulnerability that you get from masculine is in action. It's in his willing, like if it's the masculine in a man shows his vulnerability by leading, by taking the lead in a relationship. And you might think, well, how is that vulnerable? That's just dominant. But it's highly vulnerable, because if a man leads his woman or his family, or a business, and it fails, if he does something excuse me, if he does something that causes other people suffering through his choice of leadership, then he has to live with that. Like, he has to live with the consequences of what he's created by taking that role as a leader. And so, yeah, masculine vulnerability isn't about sharing feelings and expression with his words and his softness. It's about taking that hard stand and making something good in the world that's inclusive of everybody that he can, that everybody that matters to him the most, and not hurting other people outside of that circle in the process. And in a man, his feminine vulnerability is when he can sink into his feelings and express them. But I found that when a man does that too much, he places a burden on the women in his life, because a woman is going to open her heart and be so grateful to hear all those things, but she won't feel like she's in a position to do anything about it. So now all she knows is, my man has all these problems and he has all these emotions, and all I can do is love him. I can't really do anything to fix it because that's his responsibility. So if he's in his masculine energetics in a balanced, healthy way, he'll be taking care of his own stuff and it won't be a burden on her, and then he won't really have anything to say. So oftentimes when men are stoic and they don't talk, it's because they are being responsible for themselves. And this is something that maybe a lot of women don't understand. They want to know what's going on, but the man knows that if he speaks, he's going to burden her. So it's actually a sign of love from his heart to not say anything, because he doesn't want her to carry the weight. And he just won't do that to her because he loves her. And there's a lot of really subtle, like, nuances like this that I'm discovering about men and how we're perceived or misperceived by people. Even men misperceive of men. So yeah, but I'm glad you brought that up, because it is important for people to understand themselves deeply like this and know.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because women, we have this, like, we can just talk, we can just overflow with, because we get, like, in frustration, what is going on, what is going on? He doesn't speak. And then we just start to talk and see when it's like, yeah, it's really good point, David.
Yeah, but it's because he's not speaking, Why is the male strength in the not speaking? It's just what you have been educated about or learned or indoctrinated. It's not true.
Yeah, well, I have this experience, when I was in some part of my life, I was very close, I wouldn't share things. And then something happened in my life that shifted everything. I was hit on a head with a stop sign pole, which is very dramatic. But it turned my life around, and it became soft, and I started to speak about my emotions a lot.
Sure.
And it became, as David said, a burden, I was putting so much on women, and especially on my partner, that this was like extra carriage sheet. We didn't know what to do with it. And I would fall out as somebody who's really weak and doesn't take care of his own things. So I've learned that something here also happens, that it's like the point where you lose your value if you do it too much. So something that helps me is that I take care of my emotional stuff. I do share what's happening, I do share where my problems are, but I always take care of them. And I go to somebody else and I address that thing and I solve it. And I think it's connected to our childhood, and that we were never taught how to be responsible and solve our problems, even the emotional ones, like that we.
Yes, but you are taught to hide them.
Yeah, well, we've never been able to share those, with our father.
Yeah, and you oscillate. You go over and then you oscillate towards the middle,
But the really important thing is that we are that we need to solve our own things. You know, if in a relationship you want to solve everything with your partner, then it becomes like a huge pile of something in the relationship that's like too much, you know, and then you're just solving problems all the time together instead of enjoying and loving each other. You know, it is a great feeling for a man to be able to take care of himself. You know, that's what makes us strong and confident and so on. So that's my experience.
Of course, yes, but a woman needs to know that a man is solving the problems, you know. I have to go, I have to solve my problems. Don't just leave me hanging.
May I also share something?
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course.
Now, this conversation, I remembered I had in my life also the best time of the relationship, even in the times when my relationship was really going apart. And why? Why was so? It was because with my partner, we came to the point to be very authentic to each other. We stopped putting, I didn't blame him. I just told, I am in my circle. This is my aura. And in my aura, I feel this. And I didn't expect how he will react. I gave him time. And then he felt secure to share as much as he wanted to share, but also respecting that I have my aura and he has his own aura, okay? So we were not pointing like, I'm be suffering because you did this and so on. And from this conversation, we started to enjoy so much that at some point we started to think like, we are getting, we are enjoying. We are about to separate, but now we are enjoying. Like you are such a good company to me, you know, in this situation. We really have some really authentic talk, and it was okay. I mean, it really took a lot of focus, you know, keeping ourselves in a balance so that we could walk and talk deeper and deeper, and also respecting that maybe he had enough and I had to respect. Okay, now you leave. So we were giving ourselves really time, you know, to separate in some organic current, you know, not just cutting. I mean, if somebody would decide just to cut and say, now you get out of the apartment, of the house, you know, and blah, blah, okay, we would do it as well. But the amazing thing was that even in that moment, we were feeling amazing. And not just that, also we start helping each other to develop more and understand more. Yeah. And yeah, this is also something that in a relationship is possible. Anyway, we divorced on the end, and it's okay because I felt I need to go on. Life has so much more for me and also for him. But this was very good part of the journey of a relationship, finding out the end of a relationship.
Thank you, Spela. Yeah, beautiful.
I've loved what you shared about giving each other space and separation. Even in the theater dance we've been doing, that's one of my fields I love, is we've been learning how to separate from a dance, you know, and how we're so emotionally triggered when there's a separation, you know, but that's so important that like every 3 days we have enough of each other, you know. And it's so healing to give each other space, not and not to get it as that there's something wrong, but that just need some space to walk outside, you know, and things move within you and you're able to come back. And basically you step out of that mess that's been building up, and you can step out, you can make movement with that energy and thoughts and everything, and then you come back and it's a whole different story. So separation is perfect.
May I speak?
Yeah.
But the bottom line is you tell the person who is in a relationship with you, now I'm going to go fight. You are safe. We can be separated or not, just to communicate that, you know. I'm being very physical here, but you know.
Yeah, if you don't communicate that, then it's automatic. You already start the
You go into
emotional
fear
story.
and
Yeah. I know that. Yeah, that it's communication is still so important. If you don't say those few words, then actually it doesn't happen. You just start to interpret, and it's automatic with us. You don't know what the other person is thinking and why they're doing what they're doing. It's very considerate to just say a few words. I just need to go out. Yeah. And it's not about you. I'm not angry about you. I need some space because I'm caught in something. I don't know how to solve it.
Hey, can I add something?
Yeah, please.
I would just add here that sometimes in the moment when you feel like, what?
She said, yeah, please.
Oh, okay. No, I just wanted to say that sometimes in the moment when you feel like you need time for yourself, you don't know that at that moment, and maybe you find out that you needed that when you're alone already. So maybe you can't explain it to the person beforehand. So that kind of complicates things. Like oftentimes I feel like I have to just, clear my head, but I don't know exactly what's going on. I find out during my time alone,
Yeah, I found out that after, I was in that situation many times as well, and it helped that after time I learned to communicate after as well, to say that nothing was wrong, and otherwise just everything would stay in our heads. You can feel that something's in the space, and if
it's
you
also
don't
the
say
problem, like if you have to, like Kathy said, that you have to mention before, but it's really difficult with these things. I mean, they're so unpredictable. You don't know exactly. And if you have in your head that now you have to mention every time, then it's already, you're putting limits on your whole emotional process.
We said acceptance, so we can do it afterwards.
Yeah, I just want to interrupt a little bit because we are just reaching our time. And if we all agree, maybe 5 more minutes just to find a good closure. I have one question maybe. Like, what are maybe the tips when you're still together, or like to recover, I don't know, the exhaustion or whatever, or just to find back the intimacy? What are maybe the good tips for women or for men? But this is from a woman. I think I'm really curious about this, and I just want to say that David has a really good group. How is it called? I don't know from my mind, but I'm there and I will join because
it's called Relationship of Your Dreams. It's run by Zach. He's a good friend of mine, and I work with Zach within the group to counsel and coach people on this stuff every day. And it's the most beautiful existence ever. I have some things that I can share with you, Brina, for your question. So I can't remember who it was that said it, but to step back and recognize what is yours and what is somebody else's, and take that time to really feel into yourself. And that's a very vulnerable thing. That takes a lot of strength and courage. And then when you do come to express that vulnerability, express what the most innocent feeling that you can come to. Like you might have anger, but there's always something underneath the anger that's more graceful and peaceful, and it's true. It's like you're not dismissing the anger, but you're just seeing, you know, okay, well, what's mine that's underneath that anger that I'm feeling, and I'm feeling it in my body. And if you can go to a man, oh, and that same person, I wish I knew your name. She mentioned to not blame and not seek an outcome in your expression of your feelings when you're talking to a man, because if you seek an outcome, there's always a slight little energetic attack of blame, as though it's like you need to change, or you need to admit you were wrong. And maybe that's true. Maybe, like, I'm not going to dismiss that. Maybe that's absolutely true. But if you can say it in a very sweet, soft, vulnerable way, this is how I feel. So just, I feel this, I feel sad, or whatever is really deep. And that's it. A man who cares about you, a man who loves you and wants to care for your heart, is going to, he's going to meet you in that vulnerability. His heart will open, and he will say, okay, he's going to want to invest in your experience. He's going to come to you with a question. He's going to say, okay, well, can you share with me what's making you sad? And this is from a place of genuine concern, because he loves you. And as soon as a man does that, he's put himself in the position of his own personal responsibility to, you know, maybe he did something that made you sad. Maybe you're just sad and it's not his fault and it's not his responsibility, but he's going to be open to the possibility that it could be. And the truth of the matter is that for men anyway, and I think for everybody, I think it's for women too, that we really truly cannot change ourselves until we take that personal responsibility for our part of the co-creation in a relationship. So you giving him space without attacking his innocence, and letting him find within himself if he was responsible for your feelings. That is where a man can change. That is where a man can go, oh wow, I can't be this anyway. I have to be a better man because I'm hurting this woman that I love. And the change is instant. It's immediate and it's easy. And it doesn't feel like a burden. He's not doing it out of a sense of duty. He's doing it for himself. He's doing it from his own love of himself. And that's why it's quick and easy for a man to be better for you, because he's actually doing it for himself first. And that's critical for people to realize that. And when a woman can understand that he needs that space of not being blamed and not being attacked, so that he can see himself through his own conscience and his own self-awareness, that he will change. A good man, he will change because he's proud. He's proud of himself. He wants to be proud of himself. That's part of being masculine. That's part of being a man. And we just need room for that. And I'm not blaming women, because oftentimes men are jerks and we screw up, and we do a lot of things that cause women a lot of emotions, but we don't do it from a place of intending to hurt. We do it from just living. We're just being ourselves.
Yeah, beautiful. I could just go for another hour, but maybe Gregor, if you have something to add, or we make a conclusion, or like something. We also talked about the codes of honor. We went to respect. So we did went to the points that we want to. Gregor, you feel something we missed, or you want to say something?
No, what David said, it was very on spot, you know. It's giving each other space, that we are responsible, that we have an intention to love each other, and so we're not there to hurt each other. That's true, as far as I can feel and see.
Yeah, there is so much more and more, and I really want to invite everybody to the group, the relationship of your dreams, right? And we come back next Sunday with another thematic. Let's see what comes. And thank you, David, for
Thank
being
you.
here. It was a big honor, and everybody else the same. I'm just thanking everybody to come to our first live stream of the new dawn, and wishing everybody good night and good sleep, and best to our relationship within and outside. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So acceptance and love.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we can put our song we did today. It's just the rough version, but we make it better. I love it. Aloisa, you can put our ending spot. In the future, some specific, and we do it again. And I'm sure with Gregor that we come to something more as well.
Oh yeah, the questions opening up, definitely.
Well, I'm just so grateful that you invited me, and thank you so much to both of you and everybody that was participating and watching. I'm so happy to see you both, you Gregor and you Brina. I feel so good being here with you. So yeah, I'm open to talk about this stuff all the time. So whenever you want.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Longer than 1 hour.
Yeah, okay. So next time, 2 hours.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good. We come back soon.
Okay, thanks so much. I'm gonna take off.
Yeah. Okay, I will. So, Louisa, is it the spot of our song working or not? You just put it in. Good. Ah, it's working. So we are not online anymore. Yeah, I'm confused because yeah, okay, good. So kisses. And Gregor, if you feel we can stay a bit longer, just the two of us, to share something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I can stay if you want to share some more.
Okay.